Welcome everybody to another episode of Growing Up Kayfabe. This is the first edition of the You, Me, and NXT update, episode 1. We talked about this before, that we want to go over NXT specifically and make a solo video of that, so that way we're not jumbling it with SmackDown and Raw, make it easier and give NXT the coverage that honestly it deserves. And what a better episode to pick than the one from last night, popping off the episode with Grayson Waller's pipe bomb. And let's just get right into the coverage of the entire episode. Again, starting off with Vic and Book doing their intro. Book always makes me laugh with anything he does. Like just anything that Book does. And Book was on one tonight. Even with Vic and Book doing the, it's Izzy and Lizzy fighting. So, Vic tells Book, like, hey, over under, you messing up the names, over under 5. And Book's like, I give it 4. I'm like, okay. And like Vic introduces Booker, like, and I'm with Booker T, and Book's like that. He's hitting it with the 5. Just the simple shit Booker T does. Love it. Interrupted by Grayson Waller comes in. I think that the reason, first of all, I think the reason that they did this at all is because it's the 15th anniversary of CM Punk's pipe bomb. So anybody being like, this is so out of nowhere, this is crazy, I'm like, they literally advertised it on Monday night, did the pipe bomb, and I'm pretty positive it starts the same way of CM Punk's got a live microphone right now, and Grayson Waller says Grayson Waller's got a live microphone right now. I want to preference by saying that I think that the promo was great. Better than great. I thought it was the best promo on NXT in quite some time, honestly. And it's because it's based in reality. Most anything that happens in WWE or any wrestling that has a base in reality is going to be the best story or the best promo that's being told. WWE has been doing that for the past few weeks. You could even say maybe month or two. So it's very funny to watch, like, the people who don't think that they're marks fall for this. Like, man, Grayson Waller's saying exactly what we're thinking. And I'm like, right. So that's what they paid him to do. They paid him to go out there and do that. And they pay these people to every once in a while acknowledge what you're saying via the TV, via a character, so that way it could help the program. Okay? So for anybody who still thinks for any way, shape, or form that Grayson Waller just went off cuff and went off script, just not the case. It's definitely a scripted pipe bomb. Well, yeah, scripted loosely. I don't think all that was scripted. But I do take issues with some of the promo. And I honestly don't know why. I'm thinking about it, and I think, you look at CM Punk, and there's translations to the pipe bomb promos that they both did. There's a lot of equivalents and a lot of like just, oh, he's saying this but NXT version of the CM Punk. So, but with CM Punk, I don't know why I didn't take disrespect. Maybe it's because I was a kid and I was still more into the characters. I really don't know why. I don't know why, because CM Punk's also disrespecting everybody in the locker room at that time. He's also taking shots at the way that the superstars act. He's also taking shots at the old guard. And I didn't see any of that as like disrespectful. I also didn't really see what Grayson said disrespectful in any way. My issue that I started to take was that the way that people started to get behind the promo. And I'll talk about that. So the promo starts off with the first basic half of him is just talking about how he's upset with the way that his career's been going the past 2 years. He talks about his tag team partnership with our boy over in the Vision, Austin Theory, and kind of rinse and repeat of the stuff he's been saying about that. Anytime that came up, I carried around 200 plus pounds. I did the best to make him relevant. People still didn't care. The same old that he has said anytime with Austin Theory. The newer insults would be that calling him Marty Jannetty and saying that he's allergic to the microphone. Great insults. Really like that. Because it's true. And Austin Theory should honestly work and to make that better. And of course, that's going to have to translate into him talking about the New Day. And he doesn't, now we can't say the New Day now, I guess, or like talk about them directly, I guess. I get it. I guess they're going to go probably AEW, but like, I don't know. I already hate that it's so soon and we're already pretending like they just don't exist. Of course, he gets to shoehorn his way of saying it by saying it's a new day. Talks about how, he spent the last 6 months pretending like there was a funeral, but it was to his own career. poetic in a way of talking about how his career has been recently, and I think any of us would agree. But and also acknowledge that he thought maybe he was a little too truthful, but immediately kind of backhanded that by saying maybe he didn't kiss enough ass and politic enough. Well, the reality of it is, and I think that's true. Just to pinpoint that part of his promo, I think it's true. I think when he went on CVV, and I think he went on a few more interviews around Mania 40, so after Mania 40, maybe like a year after is when he started doing more interviews and stuff. And during those interviews, he did break kayfabe in a way of, I'm trying to think of the proper way to say it, I guess just not caring about the product and not caring about the fans and the diehardness. You know, it just seemed he was very dismissive of a lot of things in fandom when it came to wrestling. You know, obviously talked about how much he does care about actual wrestling, does care about the product, how much he grew up on things, and but just very dismissive of like the hardcore fandom for certain aspects, and not just like, oh, really terrible fans who are stalkers. Just like, oh, I think those guys are fat slobs. I think they're no lifers, and you know. So I think he has said things in the past that has obviously put fans away from him, and I think that any corporate company tied to anybody who is a name would look at that and go, yeah, you're kind of like you're playing a character. But also, like, you got to be a little nice, man. Like, you can't just, like, they're the fans. Like, you got to, you know, even if you really, really, really don't like these people, you got to try to pretend. And I think that backfired on him. I could be wrong, but I do think with him bringing that up, it kind of solidifies what I'm thinking. So next, he then claims his stake. Now lets everybody know I'm here to win the NXT title. Not knowing much about Grayson's very beginning, didn't really know if he had won it or not, so kind of makes sense. I was like, all right, there's nothing wrong with that. Becky's gone back down and won the NXT title to elevate it and also embed herself. Other stars have gone back down to compete for the NXT title or compete in NXT. Nothing wrong with that. No shame in that. I don't think anybody's even thinking about that. Also, I want to preference all this to say that everybody, including me, anybody who's making these videos, because I mean, everybody's gonna be talking about this at least for the next week, 2 weeks maybe. If anybody actually thinks that Grayson Waller gives a fuck about what any of us think about this, he definitely doesn't. He absolutely, for sure, does not care about any of our commentary about his pipe bomb promo. He would just tell you that he fucking crushed it because he did, and that's it. So just wanted to preference that too. That Grayson Waller definitely doesn't give a fuck about what any of us think. As he had said in the promo itself, when everybody started to cheer him, and he let everybody know, shut up, I don't need your approval. Let me cook right now. I'm cooking. Let me cook. So then he goes on to stake his claim for the NXT title. Lets everybody know, hey, I'm here to win that thing. I didn't get to win it before. I'm here to win it now, so that way I can show everybody I'm the future of the company, future of this business. And then that's when the shots at the roster start to come in, and he first calls out something that I will be talking about more into detail later. Cruz Santana, formerly known as Mike Santana, from TNA, now NXT star, saying that who's going to stop him? Him? Who's going to stop him? This guy? And bringing up the fact that the NXT title, and I agree with him here. This is one of the points that I highly agree with him on. And I think that there's been people recently like Oba and Tony D'Angelo who have made the NXT title like extremely what it is right now, like so big, because Tony D, no matter what you want to say about him, whether you do or do not like about him, that man fucking put down that mafia act forever for you, and he was a boss at it, literally. And now I honestly don't know what this character is that Tony D does to be 100%. It feels like it's just Tony D turned up a little bit, which is what characters are supposed to be, supposedly. But that being said, I don't quite fully understand it. That being said, he crushes with it, and he's putting on 5-star matches every single time. So that's why the title is still elevated as to where it is at. That being said, Waller brings up the guys that were crushing it with that, you know, Seth, KO, Sammy, Johnny Gargano, brings up that list of people, but also still taking shots at the entirety of the roster, letting them know that they're soft, they're slacking, they're complacent, they're happy to be there. And honestly, again, echoing the things that we have heard from other stars in interviews that weren't trying to take shots, but just giving it a grandiose, like a lot of the stars are doing this, and then echoing the sentiment of the fans not being happy, hearing that that's what the stars are doing in the back. So that's great. That's great. But yet another one that's echoed from everything else, and it's true. When I hear, I don't mind them all filming TikToks. First of all, they can do whatever the fuck they want. I don't mind them filming TikToks. I enjoyed when like Bailey and Michin and everybody would be filming TikToks, and I like, as much as I don't like Kaylani Jordan, I like her TikToks. I like, Dan, they're just having fun. It'd be the fucking same shit if like video cameras themselves were very much more accessible for them at that time, and everybody would have one fucking recording them, and everybody did have a camera record shit back then. So anyway, I digress. Back to the promo. So, people in catering, people chilling. Now he's showing the abs. I got in the best shape of my life, mate. Lets everybody know, as if he hasn't been in that same incredible shape. I don't know. I was like, when I saw the abs, I was like, is there more abs now? I was looking much longer at a set of abs than I've ever looked at another man's abs, and I was like, I suppose he's better in shape than he has ever been. I don't know. Who am I to say? From there, they do a little bit trying to make it seem real, which I could take or leave. Guy comes up who's supposed to be part of production, lets him know. Supposedly lets him know Sean's telling him to wrap it up. Oh, Sean wants me to wrap it up? Yeah? You tell Sean to tune up the band and come out here and do it and tell me to shut up. You tell him come stop, huh? You gonna stop me? You guys gonna cut the commercial? You can't. Trying to break kayfabe, making it seem more real than it is. From there, it does kind of hit a very basic end. I'd hate to make this promo that was on fire promo seem like, but it hits the ending where they eventually cut off his mic as he's talking shit about the roster, bringing up how the women are lapping the men, which is also true. The women are 10 times better than the men in NXT. Most of them are way more like usable in the main roster and ready for call-ups. So couldn't agree with him more on that. So that's definitely speaking to the audience and definitely reflecting something that other people are saying. And then they do the part where they cut off his mic. He goes down to the floor and starts talking into the camera instead. And I mean, it would have been kind of funny, and I would have liked it a lot if he would have just started yelling loudly. It's only like, how many people were in the performance center? 150, 150, maybe 200 people. Right. Just start yelling. Like, he was already fucking loud as it is. But yeah, great way to end the promo. Gets down, letting him know, yelling into the camera, I'm going to take all the opportunities that you guys aren't taking, and I'm going to show you what, I remember who Grayson Waller is. Great fucking promo. Genuinely, real or not, however much of it is percentage-wise, if I'm somebody in the back, I am on fire. I'm like, first of all, because I should, I'm happy. I'm like, wow, what a great promo. Second of all, to take it into a kayfabe stance, I'm like, man, I'm pissed because fucking saying that shit about me and saying that shit about the roster. Like, we are good. And we got to see a little bit of that. I felt like it should have been a sentiment that was echoed throughout the entire night. Like every other guy, maybe throughout the segments being like, yeah, also, did you hear the shit that fucking Grayson Waller was saying? And I get it. If you do it too much, it makes it seem like it's about to start being at the whole locker room against Grayson. But I mean, it is the whole locker room against Grayson. Grayson definitely is not going to have any friends. So, the parts that the thing I didn't like about the promo is, again, it's definitely hypocritical. I'm going to say that off stance, is that I can't find the reason why I seem to be more okay with when CM Punk did it. Maybe it's because it's CM Punk than when Grayson Waller. I feel like when I say earlier that I don't like that when people started to buy into the promo and everybody started cheering for Grayson to them, it could have been any guy out there echoing the sentiments of what you're saying. That's what I was talking about earlier. They are doing this thing in WWE right now where, to make us feel a little bit better, they are showing us what we're saying. They're like, man, here, let's put fucking Sami Zayn on screen. Let's put CM Punk on screen. Let's have him go in front of Johnny Gargano and Candice LeRae and say he wishes both of them would stop doing what they're doing and go back to wrestling. Does that mean that they're going to do that? Probably fucking not. Who knows? Hopefully. But WWE does that shit. Like, that's what they do now. They use stars and segments to reflect things that we're saying, to maybe give us a light of hope or to actually set up those things. So it could have been fucking anybody saying those things, you would have freaked out and cheered no matter what. So it's not like, Grayson's fucking, he knows us, he gets it. Well, yeah, a little bit, just much like a lot of the dudes do. I feel like a lot of these dudes in there would have a lot of the same sentiments that they would love to say. And it comes down to, like Grayson was saying, opportunity. Because for lack of going over the whole thing, just like the infamous Paul Heyman promo against Vince McMahon, CM Punk's pipe bomb are both Vince McMahon telling them to just go make them money. And I don't think that's the words that was said to Grayson Waller when he went out there, but it's a sense of a lot of guys could have said those same things. So at the same time, I don't know that a lot of guys could have said it the same way that Grayson says it and put it the way that Grayson put it for people and have it work in Grayson's favor for his story. Because ultimately, now everybody's going to ride this wave. We're all going to be on the Grayson Waller wave. I hope his music fucking changes. I'm tired of hearing the beginning of, I'm tired of hearing the whole instrumental, I should say, to Lil Dicky's Save That Money. Every time I hear Grayson, boom, 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 all it's missing is Fetty Wap. Like that's all that's missing for Grayson's Waller music to literally be Little Dicky's Save That Money. It doesn't either way. I just hope they change his music because it's not a very serious music. And I hope he stops dribbling in the ring too, because it's just, that's part of what I don't take you seriously on, right? Like, I don't take Ron Killings extremely seriously, and Ron Killings isn't extremely serious. When Ron Killings was being extremely serious, he wasn't dribbling and doing the big split, and I think he did a couple menacingly ways. I don't recall, but regardless, there's a way that you're supposed to do that. So I just hope that Grayson Waller ditches all that shit. Maybe like scarcely, like sure, maybe you're winning a match and you get cocky and do a little fucking in between the legs, fade away, like who, sure. Grayson Waller is a baller like that, so that's fine. And the only other gripe I have with it is just I don't like the way that it made the CM Punk just said that he didn't like John Cena. I don't. It's not that I don't like you, John. I don't even hate you. I hate the idea that you're the best. And same with the guys in the back. He didn't like that people think that they're the best or that some of these guys are the top guys or whatever that is. He didn't like that. But Grayson Waller was calling people lazy. He was fucking gunning at people, and he was insulting people directly and in a broad spectrum. And for him to do this whole I know you guys are looking at Sean in the back, he's freaking out, but in deep down, and what are you guys gonna do? And nobody's gonna come and stop me. And it's like, well, yeah, Grayson, because they aren't allowed. Nobody's allowed to. If you wanted to make it a really real thing or try to break reality, get it into reality a little bit more, you should have had at least Tony D or somebody come out and just a real quick one. Don't even let them get close to the ring. Just let them just come out of the gorilla and just maybe get to the rampart and immediately have a bunch of security people stop them and just fucking, and then Grayson Waller throw more shots. Yeah. Oh, you think you're gonna come out here and stop my moment? You just whatever it is, nobody can stop my moment. And then he just goes back into it. So I don't know that it's gonna relay that way, like how sometimes things relay in wrestling of making somebody weaker or stronger. I don't think that anybody's gonna become weaker or stronger from this on the roster by any means, but I do think it was kind of shitty to do to everybody on the roster to make it seem like they don't care about the same thing. I'm willing to bet that there are half the guys on the roster, obviously not all of them. I would agree with him on that. I don't think there's a bunch of those dudes out there that are, I agree with that sentiment of wanting to put WWE on your Instagram bio just so you can do that and be flashy about it. And I'm like, I bet there are guys who fucking do that there. That sucks. But I know there's a lot of dudes out there like OTM. I know there's dudes out there like when Supernova was going hot. I know there's the guy that's with Rome, Saquon. I know there's dudes out there that work for NXT that are fucking creative geniuses that are working super hard for them. So to put the whole locker room on blast like that, especially some of the dudes that are just getting there, like Sean Legacy, BVD, I just thought it was kind of shitty to do that, because then, like I said, I was hoping that later in the night everybody would be starting to like kind of say something about it, show some type of emotion or anger about it. But we really only got like the very next segment, which is leading into Tavion and Miles and all of them to promote for the Hendrix match, and them kind of being like, man, Grayson Waller wilding out for that, and that's it. I was like, okay, he was just wilding out, and that's it. Nobody's angry. And all the guys, I guess they're all too busy filming TikToks and eating salt and pepper chicken and catering, I suppose. So now that I think about it, I guess too many of them were too. Wouldn't that be fucking funny if just like the next week, Grayson Waller's like, yeah, rattled some cages. He's going up to people and they're like, but did you come back? When did you get back? And they're like, he's like, what? What? Like, if it did bad, that's what they would do. Next week he'd be like, nah, you're playing around. You're having a laugh. You guys heard my promo. You heard what I said. And then it would just turn out that like nobody actually cared. But people do care. And this is a big deal. And I hope that this does bring back NXT to a... NXT is incredible, by the way. I just hope that it brings back to a certain style of matches and tenacity and intensity on these dudes. The women, it's been like that for quite some time. And I will say, as I'm about to talk in this episode, there's some dudes that are definitely bringing that back, including Grayson Waller, Tony D, it's Evil, but it's what's his name? It's Evil Naraku, including Naraku. All right, going on with the rest of the night, we lead into an Izzy and Lizzy fight that we spoke about a little bit earlier, going deeper into their program, which it's hard to tell if it's over or not. I think it is. I'm pretty sure it is. It seems like it. Shouts out to Lizzy eating popcorn chicken to promote KFC's popcorn chicken in her interview after the match. But overall, great match. It was also used to help push the Sean Spears and Nico Vance storyline, which is also a good story. I think that should keep going. I like that. I like them two fighting. I also really like Nico Vance. So there's something about him. He's got it. He's got the facial expressions. He's pretty good on the mic. He doesn't stutter a lot, and he's tough in that ring. So I like Nico Vance. And working with Sean Spears elevates everybody. Anyway, Lizzy, Izzy. I feel like the crowd's starting to get Lizzy more, but the production's got to do something for Lizzy. When she's coming out, she's gonna go up on that spot. They need to grab. You've all been to wrestling shows. You've seen it. They position people specifically for things. I need you to grab 4 to 6 fucking fans and ask them. Ask them like it's a fucking like your Jack Black. Are you ready to go? Are you ready to rock and roll? Are you ready to go crazy? And they're just like with their popcorn. They're like, what do you mean? What's going on? Come with me. Come on. Don't get those people. Don't say come on to them. But no, seriously, you go up to fans, ask them like, hey man, we're gonna do hard shot. Lizzy Dane's coming down. Are you willing to like kind of go crazy a little bit and just like do the rock and roll stuff when she comes down? And then if a fan's like, oh, I'm a little too shy, I don't know, and like oh, I'd like to, and I get it. Maybe you'd get a fan who'd go, yeah, and then when the camera rolls, he'd be like, oh, it would be you'd be trial and error, but it's better than just like, all right, Lizzy, you're there. Go to your spot. And there's like 4 fucking people in the seats because 2 of them are at the bathroom or something, and nobody's doing this. You got one guy who's like, and you got one girl who's like, woo, yeah, and then you got another guy who's like, she's a fucking rocker. She's supposed to be fucking hyping everybody up. And I get that it's a different time and era, and I get that not everybody wants to be like that. Shit, I don't want to be like that all the time. Especially not on demand. But there are people who do it, and you're a production team. It's not like people are going to lose their seat. Tell the people, hey, sorry, we're going to move you over there. It's just for the one match. We're giving these people an upgrade for this. We'll give you a free popcorn or a free drink or whatever. I guarantee those people who are, by the way, the people who are there at the show, the same like 100 people that regularly go there every week, I bet they wouldn't care at all. They'd be like, oh yeah, sure, next match, I'll just go back to my seat. Thank you for letting me know. I'm just saying, help Lizzy get over with that. Book's doing all he can. He's already got me go. When she comes out, I'm like, yeah, rock on, man, rock on. Cause that's funny and that's fun, and Book's getting into it, and that's what you're supposed to do, is get into it. So anyway, Lizzy wins. Popcorn chicken, you know the deal. Moving on. We do get a small backstage segment with Saquon running back into Rome and was it Romy and Supernova 11, and it seems that he's, obviously they didn't win against Dark State. He wants to win against Dark State. They're gonna, they definitely want to do it again. But it's then, Cruz Santana comes in, and of course they gotta bring up the fact that they had a thing in the past back when Dark State was running shot and even fucking up people in TNA, and he was one of them, and he beat them and and do this whole thing. I just want them to continue to build Saquon, and these backstage segments are crushing in that way. He's funny, he's quick-witted, he's got style, he's got swag, he's good in the ring. I mean, he's definitely got to be the next big thing there. And it's NXT in a general sense should be a blueprint for the rest of the wrestling shows in WWE, because that's how you fucking slap them. That's how you do filling time. There was, I think, 3 video packages? I know for sure there was 2, but there, I believe, could have been 3 video packages to promote the matches that are coming up. The Underground match, but minimum video package usage, not too much. All the rest of it's backstage segments. You got Keanu Carver getting into it with Vanity Project, but even not really. They just leave because Keanu Carver comes in, and what's her name, Michaela, whatever her name is, just very intrigued with Keanu Carver. And I also agree with Vic Joseph that I don't know what's scarier, Keanu Carver running around being all crazy on everybody, or him being like, hey, Stone, it's all good, man, I just want to match with him, thanks, man, appreciate it. And that was it. And I'm like, something's gonna happen. He's gonna get in that ring with EK Prosper, and he's gonna, I don't know, he's gonna pile drive him. He's gonna tombstone pile drive him. Which in WWE you'd be like, oh, he's dead. Oh my god. And in AEW they'd be like, 1 count. That's a 1 count. But my point is that the backstage segments like Thea and Jada, the Saquon and Romy and everybody, and then also the Perros De Mal with LOTM, all of those, Izzy and the Standout and Kaylani Jordan. I can't stand them, but all of those backstage segments, even only for just a little bit of time, that helps so much. I would rather watch those backstage segments than watch any commercials or the Raw Fact of the Night or Progressive Presents, or watch another thing that promotes something that I've already watched 100 times there. NXT really gives you your bang for your time. You're watching things, you're preparing for they'll even give you video packages for matches that are happening later in the night that just happened last week. So you're preparing for later in the night. You're preparing for your PLEs that are coming up, and you're setting up for things happening in the night and next week, all while you have matches going on. It's perfect. It's a beautiful flow. Shawn Michaels knows. There's 2 people who clearly know how to run a program in a way that is for genuinely entertaining everybody, and that is Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker. Surprisingly, I mean, and don't get me wrong, this is just a fucking quick 30-second thing to not even say. I'm not shitting on Paul. Triple H is still the man, but he's just too corporatized, and corporates really got their hand way up there, and you would think so with NXT and AAA, but I guess they don't care as much, so they're just kind of free reign down there, and it's beautiful. It's magic. All right, we have 3 more topics to talk about, and one of them I did want to bring up that I was talked about a little bit ago, which was the Perros De Mal and the OTM versus one of my favorite factions. And I mean, I just think that it's a cool Birthright, man, I don't think like the name. I think the name could have been a little bit better, but presentation and everything and the idea behind it, I love. I love all the wrestlers in it. I love Birthright. I think that's cool. OTM versus Birthright. They even mentioned it, and this was the match where I was like, man, I think that there was 3 people that I thought showed that maybe that the Grayson Waller thing sparked some intensity into them. And that was OTM and Shiloh Hill. I thought they wrestled in this night with complete perfection, complete intensity, real fluid wrestling moves. OTM beat the fuck out of Birthright for the beginning of that match. I mean, they beat him up to a point where I was watching, and it was about where it was going to do the commercial break, and that finally in the commercial break, that's when they took over and finally started to, like, Birthright had a little comeback, in which OTM just started taking over again, which I loved. OTM needed this. They needed it. Even though they lost, they needed that dominant type stance because the loss is for the story. And it bums me out. And I really hope that they don't break up OTM for this Perros De Mal, because I don't know if, I mean, Perros De Mal seems, it definitely has legs over there in AAA. People love the faction. It's great. But, I mean, I like OTM over here on NXT. Does that mean we got to lose OTM so that he goes over to AAA? I mean, we were doing so good with the OTM thing. This is the second time that we were, like, this close to OTM just, like, running the shit as NXT champions. And now it's just not going to happen. Maybe they're just gone forever soon. Who knows? Definitely teasing a breakup. We'll see. Not happy about that. That being said, love the execution of this story. Beautiful. Stories are executed on NXT so well. It's great. And I'm excited to see how the continuing of this development of this story. And we'll be back with the developments on those story in the next few episodes too. Going over to the Tristan Angels and Shiloh Hill match. The fog has now officially caught up to Tristan Angels. These are both dudes who I'm like, I can't wait to just see everything they do. This is also why I love watching NXT, because I am so interested in these wrestlers already that I'm excited for the next 10 years of wrestling to be like, man, I can't wait to see where these guys go and what they do and what they're able to make and create. So Tristan Angels, already banger music, banger presentation, awesome heel. Shiloh Hill, bar none, one of the most interesting and fun baby faces in a long time. The fog coming out of the way. He's an absolute genuine creative guy. So his possibilities are endless, because he's going to be one of those dudes when they're going to be like, well, Shiloh, we don't really have anything for you. And he's going to pull out a fucking binder that's got raccoon hair all over it. And he's going to be like, I've been thinking of some ideas here. Fucking does a terrible Shiloh Hill, but you get it. Next time I'll there we go. I've actually been thinking of some ideas here. I fucking love Shiloh Hill. But I already spoke about how they both wrestled this match incredibly well, and I was happy to see Shiloh Hill yet again beat Tristan Angels. I think that's the way that the story's supposed to go. Shiloh Hill's constantly on this run right now, and I think after this win, this is where they're going to start cementing something of either a different storyline leading up to some type of title, or maybe something into a deeper match with Tristan Angels. We'll see. I hope not, because then that would mean that either Tristan Angels has to take 3 losses to him, or that Shiloh needs to take a loss, which I would hate that, against Tristan Angels at least. Moving on. The last thing in the night is Cruz Santana and Tony D, and of course, at the very end there, Grayson Waller getting involved. But the main core of it was Cruz Santana coming in finally with his new name and, you know, saying hi to the crowd. And I really couldn't stomach half the promo, to be honest with you. You know, it's stuff I've heard him say over and over again every time he's in a new place. Even when he was with TNA and he was just over here at NXT, he gave that promo of, I've been here, I've been there, I'm from Bronx, I'm from this part of New York, and I've been wrestling here, there. I'm a fucking guy with my family. This guy got Puerto Rican, and I'm like, all right, well, that's the same promo he usually says. And I was like, I wonder if anything else is going to be said. Nope, Tony D came out. So I was like, cool. So he really didn't have anything of substance to say, except for that he was going to challenge, he was going to be the top guy, and that he's here to take over, and that he's a Puerto Rican from the Bronx. That's it. Tony D comes out and they do a little, they talk some face shit, and that's really it. Tony D schooled him, by the way. I fucking love Tony D on the mic, and he schooled him. Even for the little bit that they had, he schooled him. So that's really it. Grayson Waller gets into it a little bit, therefore kind of interjecting himself, and it was fine. Nothing crazy, nothing not crazy. Quick honorable mention to the Cam Hendricks Miles Bourne match. Miles Bourne is looking more like a champion every day, more confident every day. Love it. He looked, I don't say that, another guy who looked sparked from tonight. But my issue I take with the Cruz Santana thing, I literally stood up for stupidity. I was the stupid one. When he came out to the Action Bronson music that says Santana, and I get it, his name's still Santana, I get it. I was like, people were worried. They were like, oh man, they're gonna change his name. Like, and I was like, why would they change his name? TNA's they work with us. They're don't we own TNA? Whatever it is, we work with them. Why would we change his name? We didn't change Joe Hendry's name. We didn't change, who else did we take from TNA or came back from TNA? We've taken other people and we didn't change their shit. But for some reason, so his music hits, they wonder about it, and I go, why would they do that? They already played his Action Bronson music. We're good. We're fine. So what? They didn't say he's here. So what? It's Mike Santana. Then he comes out and it's not even the same song anymore, and that pissed me off because I'm big into the music. And although his song was pretty good, I was gonna say okay, but I think I was trying to down it just for the hate. I think it was pretty good. I thought it was a pretty good song. I think if I hear it more, I'll probably end up liking it. And to be fair, I think there's gonna be people who bitch that are like me. That, to be completely honest, I didn't watch Mike Santana a whole lot in TNA. Like I watched his title win. I watched his build up. There's a guy who just retired from TNA very recently, big guy, and I watched Mike Santana's hardcore match with him, which is what got me into Mike Santana. And then I just thought the music was so good using Action Bronson. He still says his name in the song Santana. Like, I get it, but it's not Action Bronson's song anymore, which sucks. I feel like if I'm Action Bronson, I'm like, yo, you guys could have talked to me. Like, we're gonna work something out, but it's just no more Action Bronson for the song. So, that sucks. I hate that. And then he comes out, and then they tell me his name's Cruz Santana. I don't think that's the worst name change to ever happen, to be honest with you. I think that's pretty good. You keep the Santana. I just liked Mike Santana. I thought it rolled off the tongue better than Cruz Santana. I feel like I'm forcing myself to say Cruz Santana, but I also feel like I was forcing myself to say Ricky Saints compared to Ricky Starks. So, and now I way prefer Ricky Saints over Ricky Starks. So I think I'll get used to it. I think everybody will get used to it. But I just thought it was a pointless change. Like, he's been in NXT as Mike Santana, and now we're going to pretend that his name's not Mike Santana. I wish even for that reason, I just wanted a small explanation of, hey, and I know you guys know me as Mike, but to be honest with you, things can be so simple in wrestling. To be honest with you guys, I never really liked that name, and just started laughing, and everybody would cheer. I bet all my money in my bank account that everybody would cheer if he laughed and said, I never liked that name anyway. And then they were like, oh, he's like, so from now on, please, if you would, Cruz Santana is in the building, whatever, Just stop treating us like we're dumb. Like we're supposed to be like, oh, I guess there never was a Mike Santana. It was always Cruz Santana. They got me. I guess I'm just a big dummy who never knew his name. That's how you treat us when you do that. So I don't like it. I don't like being treated like I'm dumb watching a show. That's like when Fresh Prince of Bel-Air gave us a different mom, and they're like, no, it's the same mom. Same mom. I'm like, nah, it's different. It's different, and you can't. By the way, I was like, when I was a kid, I was like, they're like, oh yeah, it's the same lady. Like a friend of mine. I was like, are you sure? I don't think. Yeah, man, it's the same lady. Why would they change the lady and not tell you? I'm like, I don't know. So, what a funny way to end. I digress. That is the full coverage of NXT this week. I really wanted to make sure to start with this episode because of the pipe bomb that Grayson Waller has dropped and the rest of the episode that came through. We have a lot of things building up in the tag team division, or maybe building down with OTM possibly breaking up. Who knows? But we do have a lot of things heating up in the women's division. We do have a lot of things heating up in the NXT men's title division, the North American title division. We're cooking over there. So let's stay cooking on this channel as well. I'll be back next week with another NXT update, and hope to see you guys there with some more wrestle talk. Bye, guys. Bye. Bye, bye, bye. 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 Like, comment, subscribe. Bye.